In a small village, or there was an old school where Mr. Anderson taught. He was an honest, wise, and experienced teacher. Even though he was almost 70 years old, he still taught his students with great dedication. In this school, there were two talented students, Ethan and Jake. Ethan was extremely hardworking. He spent all his time memorizing books, believing that hard work was the only way to succeed. Jake, however, was different. He knew that hard work alone was not enough. One also needed the right strategy and intelligence. But there was one big difference between them. Ethan came from a middle-class family. His only duty was to study. Jake, on the other hand, was the son of a poor farmer. He worked in the fields all day, helping his father. Jake's father, William, was a poor farmer. He worked tirelessly, but still struggled to feed his family. One evening, after working in the field, Jake returned home, tired and hungry, but instead of resting, he sat under the dim kerosene lamp and opened his books. "Why are you wasting time with books? We are poor. What will happen if you study?" his father said angrily. Jake tried to hold back his tears. In a soft voice, he replied, "Father, I want to study. I know we are poor, but if I don't study, we will always remain poor." His father sighed deeply. "You don't understand, Jake. Education is for the rich. How will I pay for your studies?" With a trembling voice, Jake said, "I am not studying for money, Father. I believe that if I work hard today, our lives will change tomorrow." His father remained silent. He saw the determination in his son's eyes. That night, Jake did not sleep. He wiped his tear and continued studying. Because he had little time, but big dreams. One day, Mr. Anderson called both students and said, "This is my final test for you both. You have a difficult task ahead." They listened carefully. "You must go to the top of the mountain and bring me a special flower. The one who brings it first will be the winner." Ethan and Jake agreed. The next morning, Ethan ran as fast as he could. He climbed the steep mountain, sweating and exhausted. But he did not stop. He believed that hard work would lead him to victory. Jake, however, did not rush. He thought to himself, "Is there an easier way to reach the top?" Then, he saw an old man and asked, "Sir, is there a simple way to climb this mountain?" The old man smiled and said, "There is a narrow path behind the mountain. If you take that route, it will be much easier." Jake followed the narrow path. He saved his energy and used his intelligence to reach the top. Meanwhile, Ethan kept struggling up the steep side. He was exhausted, but determined. Finally, after great effort, Ethan reached the top. But he was shocked. Jake was already coming down with the flower in his hand. Ethan was speechless. "How is this possible? I worked so hard, yet Jake reached first." Both students stood before the teacher, holding their flowers. Mr. Anderson smiled and said, "Ethan, you worked very hard, but you didn't look for an easier way. You thought that suffering more would lead to success. But life is not just about hard work. It is also about smart work." Then he turned to Jake and said, "Jake, you used intelligence, but always looking for shortcuts is not right. Smart work only succeeds when combined with hard work." Tears filled Ethan's eyes. "I understand now, Mr. Anderson. Hard work alone is not enough. We must also have the right strategy." Jake lowered his head. "I understand too. Always choosing the easiest way is not right. Success does not come without hard work." The teacher placed his hands on their heads and said, "This lesson will guide you for life. To succeed, you must not only work hard, but also work smart. But remember, Intelligence alone is not enough. Without hard work, success is never permanent. Many years later, Ethan became a great scientist. He learned to balance hard work with smart work. Jake became a successful entrepreneur. He used his intelligence, but also worked hard to achieve success. One day, as they both visited their teacher, Mr. Anderson was now very old, but he had a satisfied, peaceful smile on his face. They both said together, "Mr. Anderson, your last test made us successful in life." Tears filled the teacher's eyes. "I always knew you both would become great because the secret to success is simple, the perfect balance of hard work and intelligence." If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories. And tell us in the comments, do you believe in hard work, smart work, or both? We'd love to hear your thoughts.